Hey everybody, clearing. Okay, I am loving these Alchemy cards by Kim Kranz. I'm going to pull one to start this reading. This is going to be a Divine Masculine check-in. We're going to look at how they think the connection is right now, what's actually going on from a higher perspective, and what they would like to see happen going into the future based on what they are experiencing. Okay, so thank you, Divine Creator. What is the big alchemical theme going on that is fresh in the masculine's minds and contemplation at this time in the connection? Oil of vitriol. Wow, that's a interesting card to get. Let's see what it says. I haven't read this one in the guidebook yet. When the green lion appears, a great alchemical reckoning is afoot. Long-standing frustration and imbalance cause this regal creature to lash out unconsciously, consuming all in its path. Be prepared for emotional turmoil as the lion thrashes about. Don't worry, these changes are necessary for growth, and in the end, relief will be to all. Purification is the lion's aim, and it's determined to get there one way or another. When this card appears, the question must be asked, am I the green lion or the sun, the one consuming or the one being consumed? It is said that finding oneself in the mouth of the lion is a necessary moment on any spiritual path. As the discomfort passes, the sunbeams shine all the brighter. To ponder change as the only constant, and to go deeper, look up images of the green lion eating the sun. Okay, so masculines are really looking at, acidity, resentment, and purification. What I'm getting from this is any time that the masculines have harbored resentment against the feminine, it's all being dredged up right now for consideration of the validity of it, for consideration of the productivity of it, for consideration of the unnecessary aspects of it. They're really looking at animosity, holding grudges, their triggers. It's allowing them, these connections really hold up a mirror to any misconceptions or any wounding that needs to be addressed. And I'm getting that the masculines are really being faced with some of that right now. Possibly in a safer, objective way, but also possibly in a frustrated way to some degree. So there seems to be a lot of internal processing and a growth spurt happening. So let's see how the masculines are looking at the connections at this time in light of this energy. We just came Mercury retrograde, Mercury just went direct. So a lot of the things that were building during Mercury retrograde or being dredged up for consideration have now come to light. And this is the aftermath, is what I'm hearing. So taking stock, integrating. What are the masculines? Thank you, Divine Creator, for using me as a channel of only the highest, most beneficial information coming through. What are these masculines consciously aware of and thinking about the connections? What is some added information that they may not be aware of regarding the connections and their feminine to take into consideration? For any feminines watching, for any masculines watching. And what are these DMs strategizing, planning, hoping, considering about the way that they see these connections unfolding into the future? Okay, conscious mind about the connections at this time. The world, they're really seeing how their divine feminine is a reflection across the whole spectrum of considerations. Like, this really is a complete connection. It has to do with two people knowing themselves fully and being able to see all of those aspects within the other one. So the masculines are truly seeing their divine counterpart as having the whole spectrum good, bad, and ugly, I just heard, but also in the healing direction. We do have that energy of purification. They are seeing the complete mirror. What aren't they maybe seeing? How the heartache also is part of that mirroring. So there is a nuanced, when we have still that resentment layer, we haven't come through the purification fully yet. So if we're getting the heartache card, this is the one that has this red thread of healing, though, that speaks of these tender moments being destined, being fated in the connection. So there's something about the imperfection, taking the feminine off the pedestal and realizing that just because things aren't idealized or there are tricky situations sometimes doesn't mean that it isn't valuable in the big picture. So they do have a little bit of integration. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, I just heard. Where do they hope things go? They hope their anxiety can be calmed. So there's something very stubborn that the masculines are realizing here that really riles them up, but also stands to be the greatest doorway to freedom, and specifically freedom from anxiety and the stress of not wanting to feel emotional turmoil, pain. There's something here in the energy where the masculines have been shown everything they need to know to befriend the process that allows them to not sweat the small stuff with you, feminine, specifically. It's like the perfect recipe for slaying their dragons regarding love, and to take that victim or projection layer out of it where they see it from a big picture. So that is available here in this connection, masculines. If you're watching that, this connection that you are watching for your feminine has this opportunity for you. What can we see for how the DMs are looking at their feminine in particular with the sword of truth? Okay, double-edged sword. When we're holding the sword by both blades there, it can be a little bit of another tender thing on one side and then the other. So when we're still between resentment and purification, it can feel damned if I do, damned if I don't. Like we have to handle things with a lot of care right now. However, the masculines are not just wielding a truth. They're actually in touch with both sides of the coin here. So feminines, just realize that your masculine is beginning to actually consider your side of things. They can feel the edge of your truth as much as they can feel the edge of theirs. And because this tactile holding both sides of that sword, they're holding it in their hand equally. So they are seeing, this is deep empathy and understanding in how both of your vantage points are part of the same whole. Wow, good job, masculines. That's so exciting. What might they not be seeing? How much bravery it takes to be in that alignment where we can do that. How much inner fortitude, how much composure, how much accountability, discipline, stamina, authenticity it takes to legitimately be there without defensiveness. What can we see for where they would like this to go? This is beautiful because the 10 of Cups in the upright is airy-fairy, kind of daydreamy energy. In the inverse, it's like they found someone almost perfect, but that little bit of resistance or imperfection is actually the growth edge that leaves room for humanity, that leaves room for contrast, that leaves room for growth. I believe the masculines are realizing how much the perfectly offset energy between the two of you actually is one of the greatest gifts of this connection. I'm hearing it allows for humor. I'm almost getting the word pessimism about the ideal, but at the same time, that little bit of stoic or cautious, or is it pessimism? I'm not so sure if it's actual pessimism or if it's just a healthy dose of realistic energy. The masculines are maybe transmuting it from pessimism to something that's healthy, to have that little bit of contrast or an independent thinker in their feminine. You know, you are not demonstrating that you are going to be a cookie cutter of compliance. It really is a blessing to have somebody who is aligned with their truth connected with another person who is aligned with their truth. I just saw 1111. So really hold that in your heart, that that is a sacred thing indeed. What can we see for the heart space? How are the masculines perceiving this oil of vitriol on the heart space? Okay, the Empress, they do feel like ultimate abundance and happiness is starting to come into view here. Again, with it in the inverse, it's not an airy-fairy dream-like thing. It's grounding in a practical sense. What don't they see about this? That the new beginning has already happened. So they might think that something is still, masculines, you might think that something is still over the horizon here, that it hasn't come into your grasp. But this is saying the only reason that you're experiencing the way this energy is hitting right now is because this new beginning has already happened, and now you're just seeing it playing out. What do the masculines wish? They want to get over this abandonment wound. So this speaks of a deep desire to anchor peace, trust, predictability. I heard boredom into the connection. But really peace, and not have this abandonment wound trigger. There are so many more vital things to focus our attention on, is what I'm hearing them say. Like, they want to be abundant. They want to be driven. They want to not have to worry if something is going to be misunderstood. I'm hearing the masculines say they're so close to realizing some of their dreams, and they're contemplating whether or not teamwork in the physical would get there faster, or if it's valuable to continue staying the course single. They are starting to recognize that this abandonment wound is being healed. The angst of emotionality is being mastered. There is this opportunity to drop the acidity and celebrate the purification that the two of you have been undergoing, this undercurrent of healing and purification that's been playing out over time in the connection through the cycles. What can we see on the heart space? How are they feeling on the heart space for their feminine? That the end of the burden feels near. That this has got to be sort of the end of the cringe, the difficulties. It feels like these connections have gone through so many ups and downs that there can't be very many other ways of wondering if this connection will stand the test of time or be amicable through life's circumstances. It feels like these masculines have pretty much seen everything they need to in these connections to make an educated decision about life partnership. What don't they see? That these changes towards life partnership have been anchoring step by step during this process of exploration, that it has been forming this bond, that it has been creating intimacy, that these experiences haven't been a prerequisite to intimacy, this actually is the cutting edge relationship for both of you. That because this core energy has been touched time and time again through an aloof, non-romanticized connection in the physical, because there's been space in the connection, it hasn't looked traditional. These things have already been forging or affirming, recognizing, touching on this true soul level compatibility. And this has just been the play out, the evidence of that. I'm hearing love at first sight. This is the validation of what that love at first sight was. The history here, the way the two of you have navigated these things, it actually is the intimacy being demonstrated and approached by both. Where do they want this to go? They don't want third-party energies. They want this to be more than friends. They want to deepen it. They want to deepen the emotional experience of it with emotional safety. So they do want it to be purified so that this is a safe harbor. What are they wishing to manifest at this time? Ooh, they want to see you in your full empowerment. They just want to see you radiating. They want to see you embodying the soul level confidence, your independence. They want to see you bomb-proof feminines. They want to see you knowing your worth. They want to see you understanding how attractive you are and how magnetic and charismatic and light-filled you really are. There are two lions on this card, and so they want to see you as that strong, noble version of yourself that matches their highest potential, and they want to be seen by you that way. The oil of vitriol has that green lion, and so that is a testament that they see both of you coming through this purification, and that they may have seen you resenting masculine energy or struggling with that. And this is you removing yourself from that and coming into the leadership where your happiness, your worth is not dependent on any of the things that are not easily malleable in the connection, is what I heard. What can we see for what the masculines don't see? How much they're surrendering and softening to this connection through this simple act of wanting you to be at your best. How much love that demonstrates for you, how much care. They're not seeing how that directly relates to union with you specifically. It's so innate in them to want to see you thriving that they don't understand how much that speaks of the love. They fully haven't had the emotional connection to that, is what I'm hearing. It's starting to sink in through whatever's been playing out with this layer of acidity being released from the connections. What do they want to happen next? They want to affirm the loyalty here, but they also need time to align and look at their destined path and purpose. So they're still focused on looking at how they can come into alignment in their own right. The Hermit holds the staff, much like this Queen of Flames does. And so this is the masculine knowing that their staff, this snake, isn't fully aligned, righteous yet, and they still need some time to get there on their own. What can we see for what action they wish to take at this time? They want to keep an amicable free flow of emotion. There is an emotional sharing that they're beginning to take solace in. It's creating peace and dependability and trust. So emotional safety is coming in here. And that also has to do with regards to other people. It feels like they're recognizing this connection is set apart regardless of what happens, that this connection is a safe emotional space. So they want to continue fostering that it may look like a platonic energy here, but we did see with the same card in the inverse for what they're wishing for eventually, it's to deepen from that foundation. What is it we can see for what they don't see? That there is a great deal of inner work being done that is needed. I mean, they do want to align further, but this might be that they are a little bit detached from just how much of that work is already playing out and how everything is so intricately connected like this spider web. So they might not be focused on how everything aligns and interconnects within this connection regarding their personal focus at this time, but it is happening nonetheless. It's parallel. What we do for self, we do for all others and everything in our reality. What do they wish to happen? They want to see you thriving in this single energy and not being alone or not being afraid to be alone. They want to see you being joyful, living your best life, not letting your energy be knocked if they're not front row and center at any given moment. They want to create a friendship base that is not just simply friendly. They want to also know that you are not holding back in your life or in waiting energy, that you're productive right now, feminines. They're just wishing you the best in all ways, and it's not rejection. It's a heartfelt, genuine ally kind of a camaraderie kind of energy where they truly are wishing for you to rise to your fullest potential and not stunt your progress while they focus on whatever it is that they still feel is out of alignment in their own energy. So some of that resentment in the oil of vitriol card might be a little bit distracting. You know, anytime we're in anger or we're in passion, we can see red. We're not necessarily thinking holistically from all sides of it. Although we see so much of the potential here, there is potentially still a blind spot for these masculines, for you masculines, because you need to really come into that wholeness, 2222, within yourself. So feminines, your masculine wanting to keep things amicable and friendly and light right now does not mean that they are disinterested. It does mean that they are not quite there yet within themselves and something is still missing for them. And so they are still doing this work to balance out the peace in their own hearts while wishing the same for you. They're treating you exactly the way that they are treating themselves in that light, because if they don't have this full alignment and their, whole message here is that you continue to feel your own vibrance and aliveness and alignment, then they're wishing exactly the same thing for you as they are wishing for themselves here. What can we see for the biggest challenge that they are consciously aware of? Divine timing. So they're very much aware of the hand of the divine in the connection and what divine timing means. I've been channeling for years that it means when it's in the highest and best interest of all involved. And so if they know that they're not quite at a place where they can fully devote to a romantic relationship, then they know it's not divine timing yet and that they are at the mercy of the process and it cannot be rushed. And so that is a challenge for them, learning to work within that while honoring that they don't feel completely there yet. What don't they see? That this is part of the unconditional love. So masculines, if you're watching this, that feeling of it, trying to strive for perfection might be a double-edged sword as well. It might be unattainable. Some of the divine timing in this reading might be that there's so much more foundation and bond being forged, even without that traditional relationship designation here, that you are already in a deep soul dance and commitment with your person, and unconditional love allows for the becoming to be a necessary and foundational part of the relationship that will be in full bloom one day. What do the masculines wish going forward? They wish to overcome their fear of death, of mortality, of loss, their insecurity that things can be taken from them, that there's not enough, their scarcity thinking. So that insecurity in them, there's a red color here for root chakra. I'm wearing red. I'm in my root chakra meditation. There's red on this feminine. So masculines are really wanting to get beyond the feeling of fragility in the physical realm, the feeling that life can pass us by, that there's never enough, that we've got to be perfect, we've got to be providing or protecting by making everything perfect before we have a relationship, that elusive perfection that this divine timing guise is pointing to. What they want is actually to let go of that fear, let go of that rigidity, let go of that cold stoic energy. They actually want it to be stripped away from them. It's like they're begging for it. Wow, masculines. So there is a plea here for the divine to have mercy on them by showing them how to loosen up and trust that it will all work out without fearing it's all on their shoulders and they're ill-equipped. So this really is an imposter syndrome energy coming up here. And it's a very intimate relationship that they are approaching with their connection to source feminines. So yeah, masculines, this is an interesting place to be in, and how that creates a sense of security and fosters secure attachment within an aligned relationship. So this is really deep, meaty stuff here that's being brought to the forefront in these connections feminines. If your masculine is thinking on these levels, they are very close to surrendering that heart wall and inviting in that kind of acceptance that allows them to drop the defenses. Okay, so yeah, divine timing is at play here, and it is also causing these masculines to drop their defenses, their defensiveness. And that is another reason they want you to be in this sovereign energy, is so that when they drop their defensiveness, you are not an aggressor or a chaser. It goes hand in hand. So as you do step into this wholeness, they also feel the coast is clear to drop their defenses. Or the perception of it. Even if you've been there already, feminines, this still is the play out of it that confirms it in the physical. It can be theoretical or legitimate in the energetic realms, but until it comes into view in the physical, it's not grounded. So this can be looked at also as simply the revelation of what is already there in the energetic realms. But divine timing is at hand here. What is the solution that the masculines are leaning into consciously about the divine timing? Self-soothing in these tender periods of spaciousness in the connection, these fortifying experiences, knowing that the love is here and really not. So this defensive energy that they're releasing, this resentment, this wounding, this tenderness, it's actually essential that they are in their own energy at this time to give themselves the pep talk that affirms that they do not need to harbor resentment with their divine feminine. Their divine feminine is not here to be karmic. And so there is safety here. So it's really understanding that these masculines have safety in the spaciousness. This is allowing you masculines to understand that nothing within a more committed or aligned relationship is going to be unsafe. There's not going to be just a certain amount of love and then it will suddenly be taken away. There is a lot of testing in the energy, but when these masculines, when you do get to a place of security in these connections, it won't be taken away. All of these cycles of getting to know each other are invaluable for what will come next. What can we see for what the masculines don't see? That there is so much subconscious stuff coming to light. So I'm also getting that many of these masculines are realizing the hardship of their mothers. Many of them had single mothers, or they didn't have abundance growing up. This can be poverty. This can be poverty mindset. This can be the awareness, because we're seeing the scarcity, lack, and competition being ready to be released. That's the 4 of coins. Here's the 5 of coins, which really is a deep, profound compassion. And I'm getting for many, this is when they were little masculines and seeing how their moms tried their best under the circumstances, and that it was not necessarily, they may have had a skewed interpretation about hardship and the effects it had on them, and missed how difficult it would have been for their mothers, or the kind of hardship that their mothers were actually dealing with, and how under the circumstances they were probably given a lot more love than they have appreciated so far. So they've taken a lot of things from their childhood personally, and this deep subconscious recognition is coming to the forefront that they may have had an immature or underdeveloped view of what had happened as children. And now they're seeing it with more empathy and compassion because of the life lessons that they've been facing as an adult. They're connecting that generational dot, and I specifically, this energy of resenting the feminine is being tempered. What do they wish to see as a result here? Okay, wow. So we get the previous armored, guarded version of themselves, and this more grounded, rooted, practical, realistic version that doesn't need to be guarded is really here overcoming the previous defensive masculine. And we have you feminines blindfolded here, aware that this might be going on, but not really witnessing the process because it is their process. So you're needing to drop into your own truth at this time while your masculine tackles the past version of themselves that was defensive to love. Oh my goodness, that's amazing. What can we see for the direction in the near future? What are they thinking? Queen of Cups, they are just enamored with how psychic and intuitive and wise and compassionate you are. Like, this is really allowing your masculine to understand the love embodied in this situation. It's helping them more than you know, feminines, to see feminine energy in this light on this level. What can we see for... Oh, yeah, what they don't see fully yet is that cup of love that you hold is an exchange that is fit for just the two of you. You saw the 3 of Cups twice. This is the 2 of Cups that is remaining when the King and Queen of Cups fully can exchange their actual emotional sentiment and love for each other. What do they see playing out? Wow, there's that Empress again. So, they see that it is a work in progress and a confirmation that everything abundant and good is available in this connection. They know that it's unfolding. This is beautiful in many ways because this shows they are not attached to an outcome on a specific timeline, and that they are willing to be thorough and authentic with whatever it needs to be leading up to the abundance emerging the way that it's going to be divinely shown to them. Because we saw that divine wheel of fortune, the divine hand, the divine timing in this. They're really in a surrender. Dropping defensiveness is a major component to trusting divine timing and surrendering to the process unfolding naturally. Okay, I'm actually being drawn to get one more alchemy card for you, divine feminines, that might be watching this. Okay, I think I'm going to have to put must watch on this reading. The moon. So yeah, the secrets of the feminine, the cosmic feminine, are coming to light. So feminines, be in this moon energy, which can be, a little bit aloof. It can be very honoring of the masculine's process at this time. It can create some mystery. So there is a silent, calm, cosmic mystery here. But let's see. The moon represents the mother of all mysteries. So we got a lot of the mother energy here, where the masculines are healing some of that mother perspective, but also the Empress is a mother energy as well. With it in the reverse twice, this could also mean that they are looking at, you as a mother, or the themes of children or not. With the Empress twice, they could be seeing that this love is more important to them than children, if children are not available in this connection, or that themes of procreation are they may be looking at those themes as less important than having found a true match, only because these cards are in the inverse. I want to say that there are many ways, masculines, to fulfill that deep paternal drive in you. If children have been a contemplation, there are many ways to be a step parent, or to foster, or to adopt, or to volunteer, spend time with children. There are many ways to contribute in that generational flow if children are not going to be something in this connection for whatever reason. Every situation is different. This can also indicate the preparation for becoming a parent. So knowing the timing isn't quite there yet, and understanding that this generational healing and dropping the resentment will be ultimately a more appropriate way to bring children in. The moon also has to do with hormone balance, feminines, and regulation. This can also be where your mind, body, and soul align through emotional equilibrium. Okay, so the moon represents the mother of all mysteries. Once a month, it slips into the full spotlight and then gently disappears, only to initiate the cycle again, gifting us with the message of impermanence. The moon reminds us we are in constant transition, a continual process of letting go. So this spaciousness that's being navigated cycle after cycle in these connections, it's really tempering that edge of, it's out of sight. Will it ever come back? That fear of loss. It's the cosmic game of peekaboo. You know how petrified children are when they play peekaboo for the first time, and then how ecstatically they laugh when they realize it's an illusion, that the parent is actually still there. So it's this kind of self-soothing. It's that inner stability that is that remedy for codependency. These are the temperance processes that help us really come into authentic wholeness. But also when we understand how productive these periods of spaciousness are, and we see the real growth and results, there's nothing that can indicate alignment so beautifully as this kind of process playing out exactly in the way that it needs to for each counterpart couple. It is the yin principle, one of listening rather than speaking. This card may indicate a time of rest, and restoration is in order. So a lot of this grounding into safety. Feminines, you're being asked to just rest in the knowledge that you have planted the seeds, you have done your best, you have navigated this journey, and now just let your heart guide you. Nothing forced, nothing contrived, nothing needed at this time. Restore your spirit. Really pamper yourself, delight, be in your garden energy. This card may indicate a time of rest and restoration is in order, or that a new depth of spiritual practice calls. Dreams and memories may be especially vivid. The gates to the liminal realm have opened. The alchemist's task is to be receptive to its message. Be patient, though, as the moon speaks in the language of symbols, and deciphering its messages takes time and receptivity. So you're practicing receptivity right now by being in this patient, open energy within the growth spurts. So yeah, magic is afoot. Sink into it, sweet child. To ponder the center of the moon, and to go deeper, practice yoga nidra, the subtle art of dreaming while awake. All right, feminines. So watch your thoughts, keep them light and airy, and focus on you and your rejuvenation right now. You are safe. You are loved. You are right where you're meant to be in this process. And your masculine is at a doorway of understanding how sacred this connection really is as well. Okay, many blessings, everyone. Bye for now.